In 47 floors of Chen Pharmaceuticals' Manhattan headquarters, only one person remained awake at 2:47 a.m. to guard a $3 billion empire, and that person wasn't CEO Alexandra Chen. Alex pressed her palms against her temples as the FDA's death sentence glowed on her laptop screen. Immediate recall of Neuraxil pending investigation into 12 reported fatalities. Stock prices had hemorrhaged 40% in 72 hours. Board Chair Harrison Webb's voice echoed from their emergency call. Alexandra, the board meets Friday at 6 a.m. I suggest you prepare your resignation. She reached for her fifth cup of coffee since midnight, hands trembling with exhaustion. The half-eaten sandwich beside her laptop represented 3 days of vending machine survival. When had she last seen her penthouse? When had she last slept in an actual bed? Dad built this company to save lives, she whispered to empty floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the sleepless city, not to watch it collapse because his daughter couldn't handle the pressure. 47 floors below, Michael Rodriguez adjusted his Navy security uniform and checked his leather notebook. 2:47 a.m. Building secure, CEO still in office. Unusual activity, FDA documents scattered in lobby, multiple late-night calls to board members. His handwriting was precise, methodical, habits from another life when details meant everything. In the security break room, 6-year-old Isabella slept peacefully on a portable cot, clutching a worn teddy bear. Emergency childcare had failed again. Mrs. Patterson upstairs tried to help, but her arthritis made overnight babysitting impossible, and Mike couldn't afford the professional services that charged triple for emergency calls. He studied the child's peaceful face, remembering Maria's words. Mia will be stronger because of what we've been through, not broken by it. 18 months since the funeral, and Isabella still drew pictures of Mommy in a white coat. Still asked why Daddy stopped helping sick people. Because Daddy got scared, he always answered. But maybe someday he'll remember how to be brave again. Alex's stomach reminded her that caffeine couldn't substitute for nutrition indefinitely. The executive kitchen was locked, so she headed for first-floor vending machines. Maybe selecting overpriced snacks would quiet her racing thoughts long enough to find a solution to the impossible. The elevator descended through floors of darkened laboratories where her father's researchers had once performed miracles. Each ding felt like a countdown to corporate extinction. When doors opened onto the marble lobby, she wasn't surprised to find the night security guard organizing paperwork with military precision. What shocked her was the makeshift bed visible through the break room's open door, where a small child slept surrounded by coloring books and medical toys. "Excuse me," Alex's voice cut through silence like corporate judgment. "This is a pharmaceutical company, not a daycare center." Michael turned slowly, dark eyes meeting hers without flinching. "I apologize, ma'am. Emergency child care arrangements fell through. This won't happen again." "It better not," authority rang in her tone, the sound of someone accustomed to immediate compliance. "We're dealing with a crisis here. I can't have additional liabilities." "Daddy?" Isabella's small voice drifted from the break room as she rubbed sleep from her eyes. "Is everything okay?" The little girl appeared wearing pajamas decorated with tiny stethoscopes, studying Alex with the fearless honesty only children possess. "Go back to sleep, mija," Mike said gently. "Everything's fine." Isabella stepped closer, tilting her head with 6-year-old logic. "Are you the sad lady Daddy talks about? The one who works all night like him, but has no one to work for?" Cold settled in Alex's stomach. "What did you say?" "Daddy says some people work because they have families to take care of, but other people work because they don't know how to stop being scared. Are you scared, lady?" The elevator dinged behind Alex, doors opening to reveal escape back to her ivory tower. But she remained frozen, staring at this child who had somehow seen through corporate armor to the terrified woman beneath. Mike stepped forward protectively. Bella, that's enough questions. But Daddy, she looks lonely, like you did before you learned to make pancakes shaped like hearts. When had anyone last worried about Alex's loneliness? When had anyone looked past her title, her net worth, her carefully constructed invincibility? Isabella yawned, losing interest in adult conversation. Daddy makes really good hot chocolate when people can't sleep. It has tiny marshmallows that look like clouds. She shuffled back to bed, leaving Alex and Mike alone in the cavernous lobby. Silence stretched between them, filled with a child's innocent observations and the weight of unasked questions. Your daughter, Alex said finally. Where's her mother? Mike's expression shuddered with practiced pain. She passed away 18 months ago. I'm sorry. Corporate politeness applied to devastating loss felt inadequate. Raising a child alone while working nights must be difficult. We manage. His tone suggested conversation over, but something in his eyes, recognition, perhaps, made Alex hesitate. The FDA documents, she said, surprising herself. On the lobby table. You were reading them. It wasn't a question. She'd noticed papers weren't where she left them. Most security guards wouldn't understand regulatory correspondence, wouldn't care about pharmaceutical protocols. Mike's jaw tightened imperceptibly. Standard security protocol requires securing loose documents. Standard protocol doesn't include taking detailed notes. Alex nodded toward his notebook, pages filled with precise observations. Isabella's voice drifted sleepily. Daddy writes down important things so he doesn't forget, like Mommy used to do with her patients. Another puzzle piece shifted. Your wife worked in healthcare? She was a nurse, Mike said carefully. Too carefully. The elevator dinged impatiently. Alex stepped inside but turned back before doors closed. What's your background, Mr. Rodriguez? And my background is security, ma'am. Doors slid shut, but not before Alex caught something deeper in Michael Rodriguez's eyes. Something that suggested security was a destination, not an origin. First cliffhanger, 8 minutes. Over the following week, Alex found herself making frequent first-floor trips, coffee runs, document retrievals, sudden needs that could only be satisfied by walking past the security desk. Each time she noticed details that didn't fit the standard security guard profile. His handwriting was medical in its precision. He moved with quiet confidence of someone accustomed to high-pressure situations. When pharmaceutical reps arrived early, his questions demonstrated knowledge far beyond basic protocols. Isabella was always there, coloring pictures that featured unusual combinations. Princesses wearing stethoscopes, castles with hospital crosses, fairy tales where doctors saved kingdoms. When asked about her artwork, she explained with 6-year-old seriousness that princesses could be doctors too, just like Mommy. Thursday brought the crisis Alex had been dreading. The FDA's preliminary investigation revealed 12 deaths potentially linked to Nurixil. Harrison Webb had called an emergency board meeting for Friday morning at 6 a.m. Alexandra, Webb's voice had been coldly satisfied during their call. The board's patience is exhausted. Prepare for leadership transition discussions. Alex stood in her office at 2:30 a.m., staring at financial projections that resembled medical flatlines. Her phone buzzed with reporters demanding statements, investors threatening lawsuits, board members questioning her competence. Everything her father built was disintegrating in real time. The elevator felt like a metal coffin as she descended toward the lobby, seeking the only comfort available, Isabella's innocent presence and her father's unexpected kindness. But as the car reached the 15th floor, grinding erupted from above. The elevator shuddered, lurched, and died between floors. Emergency lighting cast everything in hellish red as Alex pressed buttons frantically. Nothing. No phone signal. Walls closing in as breath came in panicked gasps. Help! She called out. voice echoing in the confined space. Someone help me! Minutes felt like hours before footsteps echoed in the stairwell. Ma'am, can you hear me? This is Michael Rodriguez. I'm trapped between 15 and 16, Alex shouted back. The elevator's completely dead. I need you to stay calm. I'm getting you out. Through thin walls, Alex heard Mike moving with purpose. Deliberate footsteps, tools being gathered, careful manipulation of machinery she couldn't see. What are you doing? She called. Accessing the emergency release mechanism. Give me a few minutes. Alex pressed against the wall, fighting claustrophobic panic. I have a board meeting in 3 hours. If I'm not there, you'll be there. Mike's voice carried absolute certainty. Breathe slowly and stay focused. Mechanical sounds continued, accompanied by Mike's steady commentary. His knowledge of elevator systems was unexpectedly detailed, his approach methodical and professional. This wasn't a security guard fumbling with unfamiliar equipment. This was someone with serious technical training. 20 minutes later, the elevator shuddered to life, rising to the 16th floor, where Mike waited with doors manually held open. Alex stumbled out, legs shaky with relief and residual terror. How did you know how to do that? She asked, studying his face in harsh hallway lighting. Mike carefully replaced sophisticated tools in a kit far beyond standard maintenance equipment. Basic building systems training, he said, avoiding her eyes. That wasn't basic anything. Alex's voice carried new authority, the tone of someone accustomed to uncovering deceptions. You knew exactly what you were doing. Where did you learn that level of technical skill? Before Mike could answer, Isabella appeared at the stairwell's top, having climbed 15 flights to reach them. Daddy, I heard the loud noise. Is the sad lady okay? She's fine, mija. Head back downstairs. Isabella approached Alex with fearless concern. You look really scared. Do you want to talk about it? Daddy says talking about scary things makes them smaller. Alex knelt to the child's eye level, something she'd never done before. I'm worried about my company. Sweetheart, some people think I made mistakes that hurt others. Isabella nodded solemnly, like when Daddy thought he made a mistake that hurt Mommy. The words hung like revelation. Mike's face went pale, careful composure finally cracking. Bella, that's enough, he said sharply. Ms. Chen needs to return to her office. But Alex remained kneeling, attention focused entirely on the child. What kind of mistake, Isabella? Daddy tried to fix Mommy's brain, but it was too broken. He said it wasn't his fault, but he felt guilty anyway. That's why we moved here, and Daddy became a different kind of helper. Pieces clicked with devastating clarity. Alex rose slowly, gaze fixed on Michael Rodriguez with new understanding. You're a doctor. It wasn't a question. The technical knowledge, precise movements, the way Isabella talked about fixing brains. Medical terminology that slipped into his speech when he thought she wasn't listening. Mike's shoulders sagged, years of pretense crumbling. I was a doctor. What specialty? Neurosurgeon. The word emerged like confession. Chief of neurosurgery at Mount Sinai until 18 months ago. The world tilted. Dr. Michael Rodriguez. I know that name. You pioneered minimally invasive deep brain tumor removal. Your research was revolutionary. My research couldn't save my wife. Mike's voice was raw with old pain. Maria had glioblastoma. Inoperable, they said. So I operated anyway. The tumor was gone, but complications caused stroke. She lived 6 weeks in vegetative state before I let her go. Isabella moved to her father's side, slipping her hand into his. Daddy got very sad after Mommy went to heaven. He stopped fixing people's brains because he was afraid he might break them too. Alex stared at this man who had abandoned prestigious medical career to work nights as security, who had sacrificed professional identity to protect his daughter from judgment and painful memories. The FDA reports, she said quietly. You've been reading them. Mike nodded reluctantly. I can't help myself. When I see medical data, I analyze automatically. It's like breathing. What do you see in our crisis? Mike hesitated, looking between Alex and Isabella. Finally, he spoke with authority of his former life. Your 12 deaths aren't from neuraxil. They're from undisclosed drug interactions. Alex's heart stopped. What? Every deceased patient was taking concurrent anticoagulants, blood thinners. The interaction wasn't tested during trials because patients didn't disclose complete medication histories. It's not your drug killing people. It's the combination with medications they were already taking. The lobby spun as implications hit. If that's true, if we can prove your drug is safe, your company is safe, but you need to move fast. The FDA doesn't know about the blood thinner connection yet. Alex grabbed Mike's arms, fingers digging into security uniform fabric. Help me. I have 4 hours before they destroy everything my father built. I need Dr. Rodriguez, not the security guard. Second cliffhanger, 16 minutes. Mike looked down at Isabella, who watched their conversation with intense focus of a child sensing monumental change. Daddy, she said softly, is it time to stop being scared? Mike knelt beside his daughter, voice gentle but serious. If I help the sad lady, people will know Daddy used to be a doctor. Everything might change for us. Isabella considered this with 6-year-old gravity. Will helping her save people's lives? It might. Then Mommy would want you to help. She always said saving people was the most important job in the world. Mike closed his eyes, and when he opened them, Alex saw a different man entirely. The security guard was gone, replaced by someone with quiet confidence of a surgeon who had once held human lives in steady hands. I'll need access to your medical database and patient records, he said, voice carrying new authority. And your best pharmacologists. We have 3 hours to build a case that saves your company. But as they headed toward the elevator, Alex's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Stop digging into the deaths or your security friend loses custody of his daughter. Some battles aren't worth fighting. A concerned colleague. Mike saw her face pale. What is it? Alex showed him the message, mind racing. Who knew about their collaboration? Who had access to Mike's personal information? Who would benefit from Chen Pharmaceuticals' destruction? We're not just fighting time, Alex realized. Someone wants this company to fail, and they're willing to destroy you to make it happen. Third cliffhanger, 24 minutes. The boardroom on 47 felt like a tribunal as 12 members filed in at 6 a.m. Harrison Webb took his seat with barely concealed satisfaction, silver hair gleaming under conference room lights. Ladies and gentlemen, Webb began, we face the most serious crisis in Chen Pharmaceuticals' history. 12 deaths, FDA investigation, stock price in free fall. The question isn't whether changes must be made, but how quickly we implement them. Alex stood at the table's head, professional composure intact despite the sleepless night behind her. Beside the presentation screen, Mike waited in crisp navy suit, his presence commanding attention without demanding it. Board members, Alex began, voice steady and clear. Before discussing changes, we should discuss facts. The past 72 hours brought new information fundamentally altering our understanding of these tragic deaths. Webb leaned forward skeptically. New information? From what source? Our legal team maintains constant FDA contact, and there have been no developments. The source is Dr. Michael Rodriguez, Alex interrupted, nodding toward Mike. Former chief of neurosurgery at Mount Sinai, specialist in neuropharmacology, who spent last night reviewing every piece of medical data related to these deaths. Murmurs rippled around the table as board members recognized the legendary name. Dr. Rodriguez's neurosurgical reputation was worldwide, his research cited in medical journals globally. But confusion followed recognition. What was a renowned neurosurgeon doing in their pharmaceutical crisis? Mike stepped forward, transforming the room's energy. When he spoke, it was with calm authority of someone accustomed to life or death diagnoses. I've conducted comprehensive analysis of the 12 reported deaths allegedly linked to Neuraxil. After reviewing complete medical histories, autopsy reports, and pharmacological data, I can state with medical certainty these deaths were not caused by Neuraxil itself. The room fell silent except for distant Manhattan traffic 47 floors below. Every deceased patient was concurrently taking anticoagulant medications, Mike continued, displaying detailed charts. Blood thinners including warfarin, rivaroxaban, and dabigatran. The interaction between Neuraxil and these medications creates compound effect amplifying anticoagulation, leading to fatal internal bleeding. Board member Sarah Chen leaned forward. Why wasn't this interaction identified during clinical trials? Because patients failed to disclose complete medication histories during screening. Blood thinners are often prescribed by cardiologists, while Alzheimer's medications are managed by neurologists. Without comprehensive interspecialist communication, these interactions went undetected. Harrison Webb's face grew increasingly pale. This is theoretical work, Dr. Rodriguez, but it doesn't address how a renowned neurosurgeon became involved in our affairs. Because Dr. Rodriguez has been working in this building for 18 months, Alex said clearly, as our night security supervisor. The boardroom erupted in stunned silence, then confused murmurs. The revelation seemed impossible, absurd. Why would a doctor of his caliber work as security? Webb sputtered. Mike stepped forward with quiet dignity. Because 18 months ago, I lost my wife to a brain tumor I couldn't successfully remove. The guilt left me unable to practice. I chose work protecting what I could. This building, these people, while figuring out how to live with failure. I took night shift to care for my 6-year-old daughter during the day, Mike continued. I kept medical knowledge current because healing isn't something you turn off. When this crisis emerged, I couldn't watch people die from preventable interactions while a life-saving company was destroyed by misunderstanding. Sarah Chin spoke into the respectful silence. Dr. Rodriguez, are you prepared to stake your professional reputation on this analysis? I am. Moreover, I'm prepared to work with FDA implementing new screening protocols preventing these interactions. Neuraxil is breakthrough medication that can change Alzheimer's patients' and families' lives. It shouldn't be destroyed by preventable oversight. Harrison Webb shifted uncomfortably. This is compelling, but the damage to stock price, reputation, can be repaired, Alex interjected, when we present evidence to FDA and public. We're not just saving our company, we're improving pharmaceutical safety protocols industry-wide. Webb's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and his face went ashen. I'm afraid I need to step out briefly. Personal emergency. As Webb left, Alex felt a chill of recognition. The timing was too convenient, his reaction too extreme. Something was very wrong. Fourth cliffhanger, 32 minutes. Through the conference room's glass walls, Alex saw Webb in heated phone conversation near the elevators. His body language was aggressive, desperate, not someone handling a personal emergency, but someone whose plans were unraveling. Sarah, Alex said quietly, call building security. I want to know who Webb's been communicating with. 10 minutes later, as the board prepared to vote on Alex's proposal, the conference room doors burst open. FBI agents in dark suits entered, followed by a pale Harrison Webb in handcuffs. Ladies and gentlemen, Special Agent Martinez announced, Harrison Webb is under arrest for securities fraud, market manipulation, and conspiracy to damage a publicly traded company. The room erupted in shocked voices and confused questions. Alex felt the world shift around her as pieces finally fell into place. Agent Martinez continued, Mr. Webb has been shorting Chen Pharmaceuticals stock while secretly feeding false information to media about additional deaths linked to Neuraxil. He threatened key witnesses to prevent them from revealing exonerating evidence. All eyes turned to Mike, who stood with quiet dignity despite the chaos around him. Dr. Rodriguez, Agent Martinez said, "We have recordings of Mr. Webb threatening your custody of Isabella Rodriguez if you revealed your medical analysis of the death reports. We also have evidence of his financial transactions betting against this company's stock price." Webb finally spoke, his voice bitter with defeat. "Alexandra never deserved to run this company. Her father built it through real innovation, real risk. She's just a privileged daughter playing with daddy's toys." "No," Alex said, her voice carrying new strength. "I'm a woman who learned the difference between running a company and destroying people's lives for profit. The difference you never understood." Sarah Chen called for an immediate vote. The board unanimously approved Alex's leadership, Dr. Rodriguez's safety protocols, and the immediate release of findings to FDA and media. As FBI agents led Webb away, Alex turned to Mike, who was staring out the windows at Manhattan's awakening skyline. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. "I'm thinking about Maria," Mike said. "She always believed truth finds a way to surface, even when people try to bury it. She would have liked you, Alex. She would have said you have a healer's heart, even in business." Isabella appeared in the doorway, having been brought up by building security during the commotion. She ran to her father and hugged him tightly. "Daddy, the nice FBI lady downstairs said the angry man can't bother us anymore. Does that mean you can be a doctor again?" Mike knelt to Isabella's level, brushing curls from her face. "Maybe, mija, but first, Daddy has to help Alex make sure sick people get better medicine. And maybe we found ourselves a family bigger than just the two of us." Isabella looked at Alex with the serious expression she wore when discussing important matters. "Are you going to be my second mommy? Because I think you need someone to take care of you too." Alex knelt beside them, tears she'd held back for years finally falling freely. "If you'll have me, sweetheart, I've never been anyone's mommy before, but I'd like to learn." "Don't worry," Isabella said with 6-year-old confidence. "I'll teach you. Mommies just need to hug really tight and remember that love is more important than work." 6 months later, Alex's office bore no resemblance to the sterile corporate space it had once been. Warm lighting replaced harsh fluorescence. Plants adorned windowsills. A reading corner with comfortable chairs sat near windows where Isabella often did homework while her father worked. Mike had been appointed Chief Medical Safety Officer, reviewing all Chen Pharmaceuticals products for potential interactions. The FDA had not only cleared Neuraxil, but praised the company's proactive safety approach. New screening protocols they developed were being implemented industry-wide. Stock prices reached all-time highs as investors recognized commitment to genuine innovation. Alex still worked long hours, but purposeful ones. She left by 6 p.m. every evening for dinner with Mike and Isabella. Weekends were sacred, dedicated to the family they'd formed from crisis and mutual rescue. On this evening, as Manhattan glittered beyond windows, Alex found Mike and Isabella in the reading corner. Isabella was curled against her father's side, practicing reading with a simplified medical journal. "Any interesting discoveries, Dr. Bella?" Alex asked, settling beside them. Isabella looked up with serious expression. "Did you know sometimes when people's hearts get broken from being sad, it can make them sick? But if they find new people to love, their hearts get stronger?" Alex and Mike exchanged glances over Isabella's head, recognizing profound truth in 6-year-old wisdom. "That's absolutely correct," Mike said, kissing his daughter's forehead. "Sometimes the best medicine isn't something you take, it's something you give and receive." Alex smoothed Isabella's curls, marveling at how this child had seen what none of them could. Broken people could heal each other. Love could resurrect buried dreams. That sometimes the most important discoveries happen not in laboratories, but in quiet moments between heartbeats. On the credenza behind them sat a stethoscope that had belonged to Maria Rodriguez. It had been broken during the chaos following her death, earpieces separated from chest piece. Alex had it repaired with gold joining broken connections, kintsugi, where broken objects are mended with precious metals, becoming more beautiful than before. Tomorrow we start reviewing the new Parkinson's medication, Mike said, confidence of a man who'd found his way back to calling. Tomorrow, Alex agreed, but tonight we're just a family, grateful for second chances. Isabella yawned against her father's shoulder. Daddy, can you tell the story about the brave lady who saved the medicine company? That's not a story, mija, Mike said gently. That's our life. It's better than stories, Isabella murmured, drifting toward sleep. Because it's real and it's ours, and it has the happiest ending. As evening deepened over Manhattan, three hearts beat in unison in the warm light of an office that had once been a prison but was now a sanctuary. Outside, the city continued its relentless pace, millions pursuing dreams and battling fears, hoping for second chances. But inside Chen Pharmaceuticals' 47th floor, time moved differently. Here, in this space where lives had been saved and hearts mended, Alexandra Chen finally understood what her father had really built. Not just a company, but a legacy of healing that could repair more than bodies. It could restore faith, rebuild families, and remind broken souls that every ending could become a new beginning. The night security guard who saved a billion-dollar empire had done something more valuable. He taught a lonely woman how to love, and in return, she helped him remember who he was always meant to be. Together, they proved that sometimes the most powerful medicine isn't found in laboratories, but in the courage to heal each other's hearts.